Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to hop on here really quick because things have been so wildly busy that some of my gardening tasks have gotten away from me. So I decided I would do this one live instead of having to film and edit a video. It's about the end of July now, and now is about the time that your potted plants, if you've potted up some flowers, they might start to look stretched or a little tired if you've let them go without water for any length of time, like sometimes happens to me, happens to the best of us. They might start to look not their best, but that's okay because this is your friend. Now, this is not instructional. I'm just showing you what I do. It's always worked for me. I'm sure everyone will have a million different ways that they do this, but I just kind of go at my plants with scissors, and I actually did it to some plants in front, which I can show you in a bit, just to show you like what it looks like a week out. But I'm going to show you what I do. This is my garden tower. I don't know if you watched one of my earlier videos on this channel. I think it was on this channel. I don't know. It might have been on my main channel. I can't remember now. But I planted this garden tower and it's doing well. Although I will tell you this, I love it. Sorry, my camera's a little crooked. I do love it, but I keep forgetting to like water it. And actually I should see, I'm not seeing any comments. Is anyone, let's see. Oh, there you are. Okay. Hi, little vintage me. Hi. Good. Thank you for commenting so I could see what you're saying. Hey, Sean. There we go. So I have let it go dry a bit. This one, I really need to get up and be religious about watering it in the morning and watering it in the evening, especially we've been having some really hot summer days. Hi, Terry. So I really need to be better about watering it twice a day. I haven't done that. So it's definitely suffered some stress. These are wave petunias, but you can tell like the leaves are getting really tiny, where the leaves on a wave petunia, can you see, they should look more like this, but what they're looking like is this. So I'll just show you the difference in size. And so that just means this plant is stretching, and it doesn't have the best conditions for its like best show. So if you cut this back, which is what I'm going to do, you'll get new leaves, and then you'll start to get like a bushier plant instead of this like stretched out look. I'm not saying these flowers are still pretty. I'm not trying to, say that they aren't pretty. They are pretty, but the plant will look better if we cut it back. So that's what I'm going to do here. I go big, like I go with big cuts. So you want to get kind of close. Anything that looks really stretched out, you kind of want to get rid of it, So I'm going to start with this. I know this seems dramatic. It's gonna look a lot less big when I'm done, but that's okay because in a week it'll start to really come back for me and it's going to look a lot better. So that's the goal here. And you can just see like as this plant has grown, it gets these little stretched out leaves and it just doesn't look nice anymore, And if you wonder like at garden centers how they keep their plants looking so pretty, it's a lot of work that goes. You can't just like pot a plant and think it's just going to do its thing. Even with like something easy like wave petunias, they need care. The wave petunias, I don't really deadhead them, which is good. Like a lot of annuals, you do have to deadhead. I don't do that to my petunias. Look, this looks awful. So I'll show you this. Clearly, this has suffered from some of the lack of water. So basically I let it dry out. Oh, these are annuals. So these will be done, especially here in Minnesota, these will be done probably mid-September. If you live in a more temperate climate, your annuals can go much longer, but ours here in Minnesota don't last very long. But clearly I have definitely left this without water. That's why it got the brown leaves. And then it came back, see, but then it doesn't come back as nicely as it was before. So I'm just going to keep going and cut off all the yucky stretched out stuff. And this is more that, suffered without water at some point in its summertime life here. This too, and it's just it looks terrible at this point. And then when they start to grow back, they'll grow kind of where you've cut them. So that's why I usually go like pretty low. And I'm going to leave a little bit, you know, so I have like something to look at this week. And you can always do this more than once. You don't have to, hi Lynn, you don't have to do it like all at once. I'm going to cut this off too. I'm going for it. So I'm liking how this is looking a little bit better. And I think this particular basket, this top basket, suffered the worst because it's the most in the sun. Like these get a little more protection like from the baskets above them. So they don't quite look as bad, but I am going to trim back all of them. Let's see. So I'm just cutting off the dead and ugly stuff so that the plant isn't putting energy into these old shoots. Now it can put energy into growing some new and better looking leaves. This one I'm going to go really low because this has suffered a lot of stress from the watering situation. Like look at all that dead on there. So even though it is still putting out growth here, I cut it pretty low. It's gonna have a nice opportunity to you know, put out some healthier leaves. So I'm gonna cut one more here and then I'll kind of show you what I've done. Okay. So, and you can kind of go in, oh, I found another. I'm always finding more, right? Let's see. Okay. So you can see now I've gotten rid of that stretched out, skinny looking, not very healthy looking stuff. And this is gonna put out a lot of new leaves. And eventually, probably within like 2 weeks, I'll get some more flowers. It's gonna be fine. So I know it's very nerve-wracking for people to like cut back their potted plants because they feel like, oh, you know, it's gotten big over the summer. But big is not always better. If you're not taking care of it so that it gets big in a healthy way, then it's just better to cut it back. So let's move to the second basket. I'll tilt the camera down a little bit. Again, this one looks a little better. So I'll show you. So this is starting to stretch here. I don't know if you can see, this has nice big leaves and then it starts to stretch here. But this plant is, oh, look at that. Okay, clearly that was damaged. See that? I was talking about it and just pulled right off. That is not normal. So better that came off anyway. Maybe that's why the leaves started to get yucky looking. So let's see what we can do here. I'm not going to do as much to this one. I'm going to, because this one doesn't look as bad. This one still is looking fuller. The leaves aren't as tiny. You know, it's not stretching. Stretching is just when it starts to just get these long kind of necky looking things. And wave petunias do it a lot. Petunias are notorious for stretching. That's what they do. That's why they created these wave petunias. And they are a lot better, but they still have some of the similar tendencies as like your regular petunias. So with regular petunias that aren't wave petunias, you really have to be ruthless about cutting them back. Petunias are also sticky. It's kind of strange. Hi, Janice. It's kind of weird. They have like a stickiness to their skin. So I probably, you know, I didn't want to get that on my hands. I could be wearing gloves, but guys, you know how I am. I don't like gloves. So now I see some damage here, but this is a big chunk. I don't want to take that off. I'm going to see if it'll just kind of, I'll cut some of it off and see if it'll heal itself. So I'm not taking as much off this one because it doesn't look as unhealthy. And I can show you a little bit better. So I'm just going to move this, sorry, this is just a little bit so you can see a little bit better. So I didn't cut as much off here because look, this still looks pretty good. I've still got some nice leaves here, and you know, it's just not as stretched as the other ones where the leaves get really spaced apart. Like this is a really great example of what you don't want. That's what you want to cut off. So it starts to just not look nice. The leaves are really tiny, whereas look at this. This still looks pretty. It still looks like a pretty plant. It doesn't have a lot of flowers, but the leaves look nice. They're close together, filled in, so it's not stretching or getting leggy or whatever word you want to put on it. So Okay. I had put this, I forget what it's called now. One of you can remind me. I had put this in here. Can't remember. Lantana. It's a lantana. I think I'm probably going to take that out. I'm just trying to figure out what pot I want to put it in. It's getting crowded. That's the other thing you want to do kind of this time of year. Now is the time to move things. If you move things now, you still get, a month or two of enjoyment out of them. If you wait much longer, it gets into August and it's too hot and everything's kind of starting to end. So I am going to move this lantana. I don't even know why I put it in there. I think I just had it as an extra plant and I thought I would throw it in, but I don't love it. So I'm going to move that, but not today on camera. Right now I'm just doing this with the plants. So I'm going to move to the bottom plant. And again, this one I cut this off. I may have not even had to, but it's okay. But you see how this still has like bigger leaves, and I mean it is stretching here. The leaves are spreading here, so that doesn't look as pretty. I'm not going to cut as much off the bottom one because the bottom one does get more protection from the sun, and so it's just not as bad looking. Just doesn't look as bad. The leaves are looking pretty good. I'll show you the bottom in a second. I mean, it's not as full as maybe I'd like it, so I will cut some of it off, but I'm not being as ruthless with the lower ones because they still look pretty good. Let's see. And again, you see, I'm just leaning back here and cutting. Like, I'm not doing anything very delicate or careful. These are very hardy plants. The way you kill a petunia is by not watering it. Other than that, it's very hard to kill a petunia. They're pretty good, except sometimes they do get these little mites on them, these little bugs that kill them. But other than that, they're pretty hard to kill. So I'm just kind of going at them with my scissor, and I'm not too worried about how I'm doing it. So with the bottom ones, I'm just cutting some of the smaller branches off because they still look not too bad. So, and I do like that cascading. Like, not all, things can cascade without getting this stretched out look. Okay, I'm going to bring the camera closer to show you what I left behind so you can kind of see. This I left behind. This I probably could do a little more. I'm not going to do too much on the bottom right now. I don't know what direction they're going to go. They don't look too bad to me yet. Some of the ends are a little stretched, but for the most part, this probably doesn't get as much sun as it might like down here. So that could be another reason why they stretch a little bit. But overall, I don't mind the way this looks. It definitely looks better than that top one did. So I'm going to leave most of that. And you can see the top just kind of looks different. It just looks stressed, which is a function of both the water situation, the fact that I've let it dry out, that this is here kind of crowding it, and the fact that it got so stretched and yucky looking. So, okay, I'm going to move to my herbs, which I planted for you all, and then I left, and I haven't done anything. Guys, it's been such a busy summer that my gardening tasks have gotten a little bit away from me, which is why I haven't been putting up as many gardening videos. I just haven't had a lot of time to garden. So, hi Style with Pat. So this is my, okay, so these are also wave petunias, and these are doing fabulously, and I should actually show you because they have more water. I mean, they're not really in bigger, so these are Dollar Tree pots, and they basically look like 3 small pots all stuck together. So these do have a bigger area to grow in, but also, like, this is much easier to water. It retains water. Yeah, right? It retains water really well. That's why these are doing so well. And again, hanging pots, hanging baskets, which is essentially what those in the tower are, require a lot more care. So if you really want annuals that you don't have to think about, you put them in a pot and they do really well. If you're going to do hanging baskets or hanging baskets or like tower things like that, it just takes a lot more attention. So you can see these are all planted at the same time, and these are doing really well. And this is kind of what we want to get those plants back to if I could stop neglecting them. But see, they have the clusters of flowers on a bed of like really pretty leaves, the bigger leaves. The necks are not stretched. So this is a much healthier plant. I'm actually not going to cut from my wave petunias here. Maybe this this is a little cluster of some uglier looking leaves. I'll cut that, but for the most part I'm going to leave a lot of this. What I'm here to trim is my herbs, because I've let my herbs go way longer and bigger than I ever should have. I let them flower. I shouldn't have done that. Herbs need to be cut back, and I really haven't done it. So let's go at the petunias and then we'll go to the herbs. So I'm just going for this little branch here, cutting a little bit of the stretched looking stuff. Maybe here. Other than that, I don't mind how this is looking. You know, it's healthy, it's looking good. This is my, this is oregano. I lose track of what's what because oregano and mint look really similar. Okay, so come on over here. And so this is the biggest problem. This was a bad gardener. This is my dill, and I completely let it flower. This all needs to come off. So I am going to ruthlessly cut the dill back. I cut all of that. Smells good if you like pickles. Dill is like one of those things people love it or they hate, but I happen to really like the smell of dill. It smells really good. So I really cut this back. I don't know. I think my dill will recover, but I really let it go way longer than I should have. Way further. Like, it's not getting woody. Sometimes herbs get like woody at the stems if you let them go too long. It's not doing that yet. I do see a little bit of new growth, so I think it's going to be okay. I mean, it's not dead. I just let it go a lot longer than I should have. So let me bring you over here because this is where I'm going to be doing a lot of the cutting. Ugh. Sorry guys for the movement, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So, okay, so this is a mint, and you can see the same thing on the mint happened. Yeah, I can't remember. I think this is a mint. Yeah. I think this is, oh, here, look, I left a tag. Yay for me. Spearmint. Okay. So you can kind of see, because I didn't cut them back, can you see what's happening? See how the leaves down here are much bigger, and now they're getting like small and ugly and stretched looking. Like, what can you really, you can't do anything with that mint leaf. So we're going to cut a lot of this back. So if you have herbs, you really need to be cutting them back. Look, I let it go to flower here. This is terrible. These are true confessions of a very busy gardener who has not had time to maintain her plants the way she should. So I am going to go down, cut anything that's gotten brown. I don't even know why that happened. This stays watered pretty well, but I must have let it go at some point. And anything that looks stretched, I'm just cutting it. I'm cutting it back. I'm not being too careful about it. Again, I'm sure there are people who do this in a much more careful way, but I am a housewife who gardens. I'm not a gardener who's a housewife, and so I'm just showing you what has worked for me. So I'm just ruthlessly cutting this back, cutting it low. I'm just gonna do that to it. I'm just taking this back, and it's gonna fill in so much better. It's gonna be so much nicer once it comes back. And it's gonna put much nicer leaves out for me that I could actually think about using. Again, I just haven't, my son uses this for his iced tea, but I just haven't done a lot with my herbs. Not as much as I usually do. It's just been such a crazy, weird summer, you know? Like, with the whole pandemic thing, it's almost like I'm busier, even though I'm, yeah, thank you, Sean. I'm glad you don't mind my honesty. With the kids home more, it's like I have been busier. Even though they're older, I've just been busier because they just, you know, they're here and they want to talk. And I'm not going to tell them I can't talk to you. Sorry if the camera is doing a weird thing on my face. But it's like, because they've been, you know, because it's not their normal, they're not socializing as much. And I mean, they're socializing, but just not as much. And we're all kind of trying to hold it, you know, stay home more. That it's just been like a busier time for like mom duties. And so I just haven't had time to do as much with my hobbies. Like, especially gardening is definitely my hobby. Like thrifting, you know, Molly likes to thrift, so I go and do that with her, and I don't feel like I'm taking time away from the family. But with gardening, it's when I'm outside and like alone, you know, by myself. It's truly my thing. I just haven't had as much time for that this summer. I don't know. Have any of you had that problem with kids home that, you know, maybe are home more this year than they usually are? Okay, so now I'm going out my oregano and I'm doing the same exact thing. I don't know if you could see down low here, but I'm not going to be too ruthless. Again, it looks healthy, but it hasn't been cut at all, and I do know that herbs like to be cut. So I'm just cutting back some of it. I do like the cascading effect of the herbs, because herbs can be pretty too, you know, you can have food that looks nice. So I'm just kind of cutting back what I don't look like. And then these, I'm also going to cut back. These are an annual. I forget what they're called, but they're kind of looking stretched and tired. And so we're just going to do this to some of them. Whoop, that's a little mint that's growing elsewhere. And so this will get bushy and should put out more flowers for me. Let's see. See how stretched that looks? That's definitely a done stem. Like, this will continue to put flowers, but it's not ever going to look nice again. So you just cut it off and let it do its thing, and it will come back bushier for you. Okay, I don't know if I can rotate this. It's kind of heavy. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. Now, really, if I were really an attentive gardener, I would be turning this every week so that it would get equal amounts of sun on all the sides. But I have not done that. And so you can see that because this was not getting regular sun, all of the herbs have stretched. So I don't know if you can see down here. This is another kind of oregano, I think. Yeah. This just says like straight up oregano, and the other one I think is Italian oregano. You can see how it's stretching because, well, A, I haven't cut it at all, and B, it just doesn't get the amount of sun that the other side is getting. So, and these are petunias that are just not blooming for the same reason. So you can see it's a purple petunia. It's not blooming because it's not getting sun. So I'm going to try for the next month or so to really be good about rotating this, and then I might be able to get these to bloom again and give these the sun that they need. But for right now, I'm just going to do the same thing. I am cutting back this oregano ruthlessly. Don't be afraid with your scissor, especially on herbs. It's hard to hurt the herbs. Okay, so I really cut that back, and it should be able to now put out, especially if I leave it exposed to the sun a little more, it should be able to put out some more and better leaves for me. This isn't even getting a lot of water, I can tell, like, because I water it from above, and I'm not always great about making sure I get all the little compartments of water. I mean, it's not dry, but it's definitely, I watered it this morning and it's not very wet. So I will make sure that that gets some more water. And what is this one? Oh, this is the Greek oregano. Oh, so what was the other thing? I don't remember, guys. I'm terrible about that. I should really make some plant stakes, but I haven't. And now I'm not going to, but I'll put that on the list for next year. But again, I'm just cutting back my herbs. If you're just tuning in, I had said that I kind of let some of my gardening tasks go because I've been really busy with other things and with my kids being home. So I just haven't paid as much attention as I like to my garden. And so I've let my herbs get longer than they should. They need to be cut back regularly to produce properly. And I haven't done that. So we're doing it now. We're catching up. See, now you can feel encouraged that whatever task you've let go today, you can go and get that done. Oh, speaking of getting it done, don't forget, I have not edited my video yet. If anyone has done anything in their home and they want to send me a picture, you can do that on Instagram or email today. And I can still stick it in the end of my Get It Done Challenge video. The Get It Done Challenge videos will be coming out tomorrow. It's going to be a playlist where lots of people are putting together, you know, things that they've gotten done around their house and made videos just kind of as like inspiration to get stuff done. So some other gardening tasks that I have completely neglected this year. I never planted my fairy garden. I never planted my dish garden. Again, true confessions. So I am going to get those done this weekend. That is my goal for myself. And I set an extra alarm this morning. Oh, here's my basil. I set an extra alarm so I would be able to get up and remember to do some gardening. So I'm going to try to do that each day before I start my work day, which I need to start my work day right now, but it's okay. No one's looking for me. I'll wait another 15 minutes. I'm going to try to get up every day and do it like an hour of gardening in the morning when it's cool and before I start my work day, and hopefully that will help me to, get some of my regular gardening tasks done. And I'll be able to just have a time when I do them so I don't feel stressed about getting them done. Okay, so basil. Let's talk basil. This is my basil. It is doing horribly. Basil needs sun, and it's not getting enough, again, because I have not been turning this pot. So, I mean, it's actually doing very well for the amount of sun that it's gotten. There you go. But it could be doing a lot better. So I'm gonna, and I don't mind that it cascades, because that's the idea with this pot, is that things can cascade. But you can see the basil is about to start flowering, and that's not good. You don't want your basil, or any herbs really, to flower. So I need to cut this back. It's not stretched, and it hasn't flowered yet, so it shouldn't be bitter. It's a nice light flavor on basil. So I'm going to cut this back, and then I'm going to cut back some of this and actually use it, because it's not bad yet. It tastes good, actually. All right, that'll be nice on my lunch. I can make a cheese and tomato sandwich with basil. It'll be lovely. So I kind of rescued this right before it did some bad stuff with its flavor. Because if you let it flower, sometimes things go bitter. So I can pull these leaves off. Now, obviously, if I was harvesting basil, I wouldn't have cut the whole stem. I would just pull the leaves off. I cut the stem because I'm trying to cut back my basil to bring it back healthier. So I'm going to leave this to the sun. I actually probably should have left some of this, but it was damaged. So I didn't really have a choice, but I think if this can get enough sun, it will put up some better shoots. I actually see on the base here, you probably aren't going to be able to see it, but there's little baby basil leaves right on the base. So that's actually a good sign that it's still growing. And we'll just hope that it's going to get enough sun here to do its thing. I'm going to kind of move the petunia over and let this get some good sunshine for the next week or so. I don't know, maybe I'll turn it every 3 days or something. I think that might do it. Oh, and then there's some broken stuff over here. I think this is petunia, or yeah, this is petunia, but it's broken. Because, we had some windstorms and stuff, so you gotta, that's the other thing with hanging pots, you gotta kind of keep track of what happens to them in the weather. Okay, so this looks good. This oregano looks good, the mint looks good. I probably could, you can really cut the mint back. I probably could do a little more here. But overall, I'm thinking this looks pretty good. How are your gardens going? Is anyone there? I'm not getting many comments again, so I don't know if I'm not getting comments or if you guys aren't saying things. And this I'm going to take in and use some of it. Maybe I'll make some sauce tonight, because it's not bitter. Oh, there you are. You have snails. Oh no, those are the worst. Have you figured out anything to, I've heard like eggshells or crushed seashells can work. Which sounds terrible, but it's basically hard and painful, I guess, or whatever. I don't know if snails feel pain, but basically they won't, oh, Epsom salts. Jamie, good morning, Jamie. How are you? Put the whole stem and it grows back very fast. Am I doing it wrong? My basil leaves are small. So you cut the whole thing back on your basil? I think that's fine. If they're small, it might be an issue of sun, would be my guess. Do you have it in a really sunny spot? You killed your lemon mint? That is impressive, Sean. You have oregano. Yeah, Linda, with my basil here, I agree with you. I definitely went too far with the trimming. But that one branch was broken, so I didn't really have a choice. I think it's going to be fine, though. I can see where it came from. Snapped off for some reason. And then these branches didn't really exist. So I think the basil will come back, It's in a very sunny spot. Maybe you have a different variety. That's possible. we'll see. Well, I'll keep you guys updated on what goes on with my basil. I definitely do think I over trimmed, but I didn't really have a choice because my branch had broken, and actually it looks almost like, let me bring the camera down. You guys can tell me what you think. It almost to me looks like, was it rotting? I don't know if you can see that. It's hard for me to tell what I'm showing you. Let's see. I don't know if I'm showing you or not, but there's like brown around where it snapped. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with the basil, not the bagel. We'll see what happens. This oregano looks great. Yeah, the only one I'm worried about is the basil. I'm not sure. You're the cookbook lady. Oh, hi. Trim a tiny bit more on which one do you think? The basil? Not sure. Made a video 2 weeks or so showing it. Okay, I'll have to look for that video. Cut off the brown. All right, I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to see what we think here. I'm going to cut it, guys, and see if maybe it comes back healthier. And if it's getting more sun here, because I've moved the petunia and I've turned it. Remember, the basil was facing back. So it was really not getting any sun. That's why I think that it's going to be okay, because now it's going to get a lot more sun than it was getting. So, all right, so here's what here's what everything looks like. And I could probably go more on this mint. See, because I'm kind of seeing the back side of it now. So the only sad part is now I won't be able to see my pretty petunia, but it'll come back around in a week once I turn it. You stuck with your herbs. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, Luann. Yeah, I have not successfully done herbs indoors. I think if you had like a terrarium window, like, you know, the glass window, they might do okay. But I have not successfully grown food indoors except for lettuce. I have done lettuce in a pot inside, and that has done fine. I'm just sorry. I'm seeing like shoots of mint that have come through. Mint is like, wow, what a grower, right? Has anyone ever had mint take over a garden? But it has sent shoots into all the different plants here, and I just keep finding them. So I'm just kind of cutting them as I see them. Okay, but I'm pleased with how this looks, and I should go start my work day. Oh, I found a piece of petunia I'm going to cut off. See, this is a little stretched here. I'm going to cut that off. But I'm happy with how this looks. I know this looks a little bald compared to the other side, but that was because I wasn't turning it, and now this will give a chance for these plants to fill in nicely the way the other ones did. And if I'm turning it like a quarter turn every 3 days, then everything should be able to thrive instead of just one side of it thriving. So, all right, you all, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm sorry if I didn't see a lot of the comments, but I really just wanted to share with you what I was doing this morning. I'm going to go start my work day. What's going on my channels today? At 1 Central, so 1 o'clock my time, I have a Thriftmas in July haul coming up on my main channel. And that's going to be fun. And then tomorrow I'll have 2 videos for you, one on my main channel, one on this channel for the Get It Done Challenge. So if you need some inspiration to get things like this done, that's going to be a great set of videos of lots of different creators showing us things they've been getting done. Yes, you're welcome, Luann. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Little Vintage, I will look for your video about your herb, about your basil, I think, and see if I can, yeah, that's a good idea, Tracy. That would be a good idea. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll update you guys on the progress of the growing in. I wanted to show you the ones out front, but I ran out of time. So maybe I'll put that in my garden tour, which I will film for Saturday or Sunday. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.